Hey everyone, welcome back to the Let's Talk English podcast, your cozy little place to learn real English through real conversations and real feelings.
Yeah, welcome back. We are so happy you are here with us today. Whether you were on a walk, making chai, or pretending to work, we see you.
We always see you. You cannot hide from us.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Sarah. And this is your English podcast for daily life, real conversations, and today, something a little sweet.
A little sweet and a little awkward.
Yes, because today's topic is boyfriend and girlfriend conversation practice.
Oh, big topic, huge topic. Maybe the most important English topic ever.
Mike, more important than job interviews?
Sarah, if you cannot talk to your boyfriend or girlfriend in English, what is the point of the job?
Okay, fair point. Fair point.
But seriously, a lot of English learners tell us, I can study grammar, I can write emails, but when I have to talk to someone I like, my brain just stops working.
Yes, like the words disappear. Everything you studied, just gone. Blank page.
Exactly. And that is so normal because when there are feelings involved, pressure goes up. And when pressure goes up, English goes down.
That is the most honest thing you have said all week.
I have my moments.
So today, we want to help you practice the kind of English that actually happens in real relationships. Not textbook English. Not, hello, how are you? I am fine, thank you. No.
Nobody talks like that in a relationship. Nobody. If your boyfriend says, hello, how are you? I am fine, thank you. Run!
Just run. Red flag. Very red flag.
We want to show you real phrases, how couples actually talk, how they check in with each other, how they disagree, how they make up, how they plan things together.
And how they tease each other, because that is also very important English.
Very important. I would say professionally important.
Okay, before we jump in, a small note. This is a B1 level episode, so the English is clear and natural. Not too hard, not too simple. If some words fly past you, don't worry. Stay with us. Your brain is already working.
Near the end, we will do a small word tour. We'll take the best expressions from today's conversation and explain them slowly, simply, with easy examples.
So if something feels fast right now, we'll come back to it. Just relax and enjoy the conversation first.
Yes, think of this as you're sitting at a cafe, listening to two friends talk. You're not taking a test, you're just absorbing.
Absorbing. I like that. Okay, should we start?
Let's go.
All right, so let's imagine a real situation. You and your partner, you haven't seen each other all day. You finally talk in the evening. What do you say first?
Okay, so the most classic opening, and I know everyone does this, is, how was your day?
Mike, that is so basic.
I know, but wait, it depends how you say it.
Oh, okay, show me.
So, version 1, boring, robotic, how was your day?
That sounds like a customer service call.
Exactly, zero feeling. Now, version 2, natural and warm. Hey, how was your day? You looked a little stressed this morning.
Oh, that is so different because you noticed something. You paid attention.
Yes, that one small addition, you looked a little stressed this morning, shows you were thinking about the other person even when they were not there.
That is actually very sweet and very good English.
Thank you. I try.
And you know, in relationships, a lot of conversation is about checking in. Like, are you okay? Is something bothering you? Do you need anything?
Yes, and this is where so many learners struggle, because in their own language, they know exactly what to say, but in English, they freeze.
They freeze, or they use very formal words that sound a little cold.
Like, are you experiencing any difficulties?
Oh no, nobody says that to their girlfriend.
Nobody, unless your girlfriend is a robot, and even then...
Even then, she would say, that's weird.
So, let's give our listeners some real phrases. Sarah, what are some natural ways to check in with your partner in English?
Okay, so instead of "are you okay," which is fine but very short, you can say, "Hey, you seem a little quiet today. Everything all right?"
Ooh, that's good. You seem a little quiet. That shows observation.
Yes. Or, "Are you sure everything's okay? You don't seem like yourself."
You don't seem like yourself. That is a beautiful phrase and very common in real English.
Very common. It means the person is acting differently from how they usually are. Something feels off.
Something feels off. Another great phrase. Like, hey, something feels off today. Did something happen?
Yes, and the reply to that is usually, "No, I'm fine."
Which means I am not fine. Please ask again.
Classic. Absolutely classic. In every relationship, in every language.
Never means fine.
Never. It is a universal truth.
Okay, so we talked about checking in. Now let's talk about something a little more uncomfortable. Disagreements.
Oh, here we go.
Because in real relationships, couples disagree. And if you are learning English, this is actually one of the hardest things to do in another language.
Yes, because when you're upset, your English gets worse. You go back to your first language in your head, and by the time you translate, the moment is gone.
Or worse, you say something you did not mean because the words came out wrong.
Exactly. So let's give our listeners some phrases that can actually help in those moments.
Okay, so first, one of the most important phrases in any disagreement is, I hear you.
I hear you. So simple, but so powerful.
It means I am listening. I understand what you are saying. I am not dismissing you.
Yes, and it is very different from just saying, "Okay, okay, okay," which sounds like you are not really listening.
Which we all do sometimes.
All of us. We are guilty. But "I hear you," it slows things down. It makes the other person feel seen.
And another great one, I didn't mean it that way.
Oh, yes. This one saves so many arguments.
Because sometimes you say something, your tone is off, or the words come out wrong, and the other person gets hurt. And I didn't mean it that way gives you a chance to explain.
And then you can follow it with, "What I was trying to say was..."
Yes, what I was trying to say was gives you a second chance to express yourself clearly.
I feel like this should be taught in every English class, honestly.
It should be on a poster, big poster. What I was trying to say was.
Right next to the alphabet.
Exactly. Okay, let's also talk about making plans together, because that is also such a big part of couple conversations.
Yes, and this is actually great English practice because you're negotiating, you're suggesting, you're compromising.
All in one little conversation about where to eat.
Where do you want to eat? The most dangerous question in every relationship.
The most dangerous every time. I don't know. Where do you want to go? No, you choose. Okay, how about this place? Not really feeling that.
And then 45 minutes later, you're still hungry and slightly annoyed.
This is a universal experience. Doesn't matter what language.
So, some useful phrases for making plans. Are you up for something? Like, are you up for trying that new cafe?
Yes. Are you up for is so natural. It means, do you want to? Do you feel like doing this?
Or, what do you feel like doing tonight?
What do you feel like? That's very conversational, very warm.
And if you want to suggest something, how about we, and then your plan. How about we stay in tonight and watch something?
Stay in, great phrase. It means you don't go out, you stay at home, as opposed to go out.
Yes, and a very sweet phrase, "I'll let you decide."
Which sounds nice, but is also a trap, because then they decide and you're like, not really that.
Stop, that is exactly what happens.
Okay, last thing before word tour. Let's talk about one more situation, apologizing, because even the best couples have to say sorry sometimes.
And sorry alone, sometimes it's not enough, right?
Right. Sorry, very short, feels a bit empty sometimes.
So, fuller, more real versions. "I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have said that."
Yes, that takes responsibility. You're not just saying sorry, you're saying what you did wrong.
Or, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That wasn't my intention.
Oh, yes, that wasn't my intention. That's a mature, real phrase. It means I did not want to hurt you. I did not plan this.
And then to move forward, can we start over? Or can we talk about this calmly?
Can we start over, like a reset button? I love that.
It gives both people permission to begin again without the anger.
Without the anger. Good for relationships. Also good for English practice.
Okay, now it's time for our little word tour. Let's slow down and walk through some of the best expressions from today.
Yes, relax, take a breath. You can repeat after us if you want, or just listen. Both are great.
First expression, you don't seem like yourself. This means the person is acting differently for usual. Something feels wrong or different about them. For example, hey, you don't seem like yourself today. Are you okay? Repeat. You don't seem like yourself.
Next, something feels off. When something feels off, it means something seems wrong or strange, even if you can't explain exactly what. For example, I don't know, something feels off between us today. Did I do something? Repeat, something feels off.
Next, I hear you. This means I am listening. I understand what you are saying. It is a very warm, calming phrase in a disagreement. For example, I hear you. I know you're upset and I want to understand. Repeat, I hear you.
Next, I didn't mean it that way. This means my words came out wrong. That was not what I wanted to express. For example, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. I was just stressed. Repeat, I didn't mean it that way.
Next, are you up for it? This means, do you want to do this? Do you feel like it? For example, there's a new movie tonight. Are you up for it? Repeat, are you up for it?
Next, stay in. To stay in means to stay at home instead of going out. For example, I'm tired. Can we just stay in tonight? Repeat, stay in.
Next, that wasn't my intention. This means I did not plan to hurt you or cause this problem. For example, I'm sorry you felt that way. That wasn't my intention at all. Repeat, that wasn't my intention.
And our last one, can we start over? This means, can we begin again, forget this bad moment, and try with a fresh start? For example, I don't like how this conversation went. Can we start over? Repeat, can we start over?
Wonderful. That was your word tour for today. You don't need to memorize all of them right now. Just choose one or two that feel useful for your life and try to use them this week.
Yes, even one sentence is progress. You could say, something feels off today, or are you up for a walk? Simple, real, natural English.
And we have a small challenge for you. In the comments below, write one sentence using any phrase from today. Maybe, I hear you in a situation, or can we start over? And tell us when you would use it.
We love reading your comments, we really do, and your sentences help other learners too, so be brave and write one.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please tap like and subscribe to the Let's Talk English podcast. It really helps more English learners find us, and it tells us, hey, make more episodes like this one.
Yes, we want to keep making these cozy, real conversations for you, so your support means everything.
And next time you talk to someone special, remember, you have the words. They are inside you. Just take a breath and let them out.
And if the words come out a little messy, that's okay. That's what I didn't mean it that way is for.
Always here to help. This is Sarah.
And this is Mike, and you have been listening to the Let's Talk English podcast.
Keep practicing, keep going, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.